Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda. I am a psychic medium for 36 years now, probably a little more. I mean, I was doing readings as a child because my mother was a psychic medium and she taught me, I learned from her. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to do some stories on over 30 years of reading experience, some of the crazy, fun, interesting things that I've had happen to me and I've seen over the years as a psychic. Things that have happened to me personally, things that have happened when I do readings for people, stuff I've seen. The one that came to me today was a lady that I had read for before called me up and wanted a reading, and her ex-husband had been murdered. So she calls me on the phone and we sit down to do the reading. And so I'm focused on her energy and I move into her energy. And I always tell everybody how I do it is like when I do your reading. So I always picture it like I have a door in front of me. So when I'm not working, the door is shut because I don't want to be picking up on everybody's energy everywhere I go. Hence when I talk about shielding in my other video. Anyway, so I open the door and I pull her energy towards me and I start focusing on the energy. And so the first thing I pick up is what happened to the ex-husband and his current girlfriend. And I didn't vividly see anything gory because Spirit knows I don't want crazy, vivid, bloody images. Because as a medium, you're going to deal with violent deaths. People are going to, want a reading over somebody that got murdered or somebody that did suicide or had a horrible way of passing. But Spirit knows I don't want to see gory, horrible things because I'm an artist and it stays vividly in my mind. So they know that. So the first thing I start picking up is how it happened. So I picture that I told her, I said, well, the first thing I felt was chest area. So I was like, I feel it like in my chest. And I felt that it was something to do with my chest. And I didn't know at this point that it had been murder because I asked people not to tell me anything as much as possible. I will ask questions just to confirm that I'm connecting, but generally as a rule, I kind of don't want you telling me a bunch of stuff because I don't want to be thinking, well, am I picking that up because they said it or am I getting that? Anyway, so I felt chest. And then as the reading went on, I felt like the back of my head. So I asked her, well, the woman who committed the murders had parked in front of the house and waited for the two. They all three of them worked at the same company. I don't want to give a bunch of details because I don't know. I don't want to tell anybody's secrets. It's like therapy. Anyway, they all worked at the same company. So she waited out until the man that the person I'm reading for's ex-husband opened the garage door. She came charging in the garage door, shot him in the chest 3 times and killed him. Went into the house, found the new girlfriend, grabbed her by the back of her hair and shot her in the back of the head, execution style, like I think twice. Then she leaves there, goes to the company that they work at, sits at her desk, covered in their blood, sends an email to anyone and everyone the two of them knew, explaining why she did what she did. Now, see, I find all this out. She tells me after I'm done reading what'll happen, because of course, since it was her ex-husband, she knew all the gory details of everything. So I'm sitting here and I'm telling her about how I'm picking up, these words are coming in my head. They took my life. They had my life. They were mocking me. They had the life that I led. They took it and they left me out, and they had the life that I led. Well, there was much more to it, and I think I wrote it down, and I can't find the paper I was looking for it because I wrote everything down because it was so fascinating. Anyway, evidently in her basic manifesto, after she did what she did, she not only did that, she drove to her ex-husband's house, parked in front of his house, and committed, she ended her own life. I don't know if I can say, the other word. So she went to her ex-husband's house, parked there, and ended her own existence. Okay. And I remember, because when I was talking to the lady I was reading with, she said that I was literally, because she had been sent the email. So she said I was literally quoting verbatim what this woman's email had said. And I didn't know this. So that's when it finally dawned on me that the spirit that was connecting to me was the woman who had killed everyone, right? So she's the one talking to me. So, and I'm literally quoting word for word everything in the email. And she emailed the person I'm reading for because she was this man's ex-husband. So what had happened was he had split up from the lady I'm reading for and left her for the woman who killed everyone. Okay? Well, I don't know what happened, but she ended up having to be institutionalized. She had a nervous breakdown. They put her in the hospital. Him and her, the girlfriend that had replaced the original wife, let's say her name is Carrie. So Carrie's ex-husband, they all, and mind you, all of them work together, right? So she replaces her with this woman who killed everybody. Okay? The woman, the new girlfriend, has a nervous breakdown. They had bought a house together, mind you. The ex-husband and the murdering lady had bought a house together, and they had moved in. Well, while she was institutionalized in the hospital for a month, he moved all her crap out and moved his new girlfriend in. So another person that he worked with. So the three of them worked together. So him, the ex-girlfriend, and the new girlfriend. The ex-wife didn't work with any of them. She just knew because she got the email and then found out everything that happened. Because, they hadn't been divorced all that long when all this goes down. So, anyway, what she was talking about in the email, and I was telling her, was like the life that she had, they were doing. So basically everything him and her had planned to do, the murderer and the first girlfriend had planned to do, him and his second girlfriend were doing. And they would mock her at work. They would come up to her job and laugh at her and mock her and basically go on Facebook and things like that. And basically the two of them live in this life that her and him were supposed to live. Not to mention, moved into the house the two of them had bought together. So I guess this went on for months up at that job, watching them do that, watching them rub her face in it, laugh at her, and she had already been institutionalized. So I guess it was I guess she just the straw that broke the camel's back. So yeah, she went to the house. When he opened the garage door, she shot him execution style 3 times in the chest, went into the kitchen, grabbed her by the back of the head, shot her in the back of the head twice execution style, drove to where they worked, covered in their blood, emailed everyone they knew and anyone she could think of why she did what she did, why the whole thing happened, then drove to her ex-husband's house and committed and did what she did in front of his house. So victimized 1, 2, 3 people, plus the woman who called me getting the email when this was her ex-husband who had left her for the woman who did all this. So this woman victimized a ton of people. But I did find it really interesting. And, I'm not excusing any of her behavior. I just found it fascinating that she was the one who came through on the reading. And I do find it interesting as, years and years of doing this kind of stuff for a living, that when I talk to spirit, suicides are always the strongest. They always come through the strongest. They always are the ones who will come hang out until their families find me. I don't know what that is. There's one theory that they hang out till they were supposed to go. I don't know about all that. I think there's just a lot more. And granted, I don't know for sure all this because I don't have a high enough pay grade. I don't know where they go, what they do. I mean, I kind of think I do, but I'm not for sure. And I'm in flesh, not in spirit. But they hang out stronger. I tend to find that they will hang out at my house till their families find me. And I've actually found them to show up in more than one reading. When the first people like the reading so much, they'll recommend me, and then sometimes they'll come in more than one reading and communicate. So I don't know, I've done this a lot of years, and that was like, holy crap, like a movie kind of thing. And so I don't know, I just thought it was one of the more interesting and tragic. I mean, it was truly a tragic story, not only for the client slash friend that I was reading for the two people that got killed, for the woman who killed everyone because she was made crazy by this person. And he was very, I'm not excusing what she did, so don't get mad at me. He was evidently very emotionally manipulative and really played a lot of head games with people. And I'm not saying that's the reason that any of that deserved to happen because of any of that. I'm just saying that I knew that about him, having read for her in the past about that situation when she was healing from ending that situation. So, yeah, but that's one of the crazier ones. I'm sure I'm leaving details out because it was just a lot that she had to say, a lot. And I just, I've done this stuff for over 30 years. I never get cynical about it. I never am not just in awe of the things that can happen when one deals with the realm of spirit and people who have crossed. It's fascinating to me, the things and the experiences that I have had over the years. And I'm always just so honored, even when it's this horrible, bad stuff. But I do feel honored that I allowed my friend slash client to get some closure over this horrible situation. And interestingly enough, and maybe people wouldn't think she deserved it, I felt like I gave the woman who had done all that a chance maybe to move on, to allow a release from what she had gone through by allowing her, through me, to say what she needed to say. Because evidently her funeral, none of her family, not even her family, showed up at her funeral. So it was just an all around, and I'm not saying that the male in this picture deserved anything that happened to him, but his psychological abuse and game playing had damaged like a lot of people. And, this, I guess, was the outcome of it, or I guess he went after and damaged the wrong person, or didn't recognize, probably because he was so not right in the head, how not right in the head this person was, And there's that whole saying that goes along where they talk about birds of a feather flocking together. That's something else that happens. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this and you're interested in more of my stories. I just thought this might be something fun to do, and I'm trying as much as possible. Unless I'm given specific permission to keep names and people's information out of it. I'm just telling the story of the thing that happened. So you guys have a nice day. Thank you.